Hey everyone, what is up? My name is Volice, and today I got a special video for you that showcases one of the best loot runs in DayZ standalone 0.62. I initially made this loot run with the goal of getting somebody back up to Northwest Airfield armed with a gun ASAP, but it can be adjusted to go wherever you want. To start out this video, we're going to be looking at where you have to spawn for this loot run. I recommend you spawn north of Berezino at one of these locations. From any of these spawns, you can simply follow this map and get yourself up to Northwest Airfield. But I recommend you continue watching to see what places you should loot and what places you should avoid when looking for a gun. For this demonstration of the loot run, I happen to spawn north of Svetlojarsk. The loot run, we're not going to want to loot anything that you spawn next to. It'll tend to be looted and it's just a waste of time when we're trying to get to Northwest Airfield ASAP. So we're going to run for about 5 minutes until we get to Trinea Plana. So on the way to Trinea Plana, I was able to find a backpack, a hat, and a mask at the military outpost just outside of Svet. You can decide if you want to loot the military outpost. It's either a hit or a miss. But the main part of this loot run is right here. We're going to be heading up to the Trinea Plana junkyard, where this is definitely where we're going to find the majority of our loot, and it's right off the bat. While looting the junkyard, you're going to be wanting to look through every piece of clothing you can, because clothing tends to spawn some pretty good stuff here. While looting the junkyard, we are going to try to avoid the red sedan with all the doors closed, as well as the Jeep and Ural. All those cars do not spawn any items currently. So as you can see, just from that one stop, we were able to get several guns, several ammo types, and now we can head into Trinea Plana and try to upgrade some of our guns to get a better rifle. So this is completely up to the player and what they got at the junkyard originally. If you got a Mosin with ammo or something at the junkyard, you don't necessarily have to go into Trinea Plana, you can just run right through it and keep heading west. But if you'd like to upgrade your weapon, I recommend looting Trinea Plana. It's definitely a good spot to loot. Just be fast about it and don't take too long. So after you're done with Trinea Plana, you're going to want to head west on the main road out of Trinea Plana. It's going to take you down to a train station, and you're simply going to want to follow the train tracks west. You can loot some of the cars here. They probably won't have anything good, but there is a chance that they will, depending if they're looted or not. So from my 5-minute trip at Trinea Plana, I was able to upgrade my repeater and shotgun into a Mosin with ammo, as well as a PU scope that's currently in my character's backpack. So definitely really good, because we're only like 10 minutes into the loot run and we already have a very good rifle with a scope and ammo. Like I said before, we're not going to go down into Novo. It's definitely a big town to loot, which is amazing and all, but a lot of people are looting it these days, so we're just going to continue heading west on the train tracks until we get to the next town. So the next town we hit is called Severino, and it's definitely a decent town to loot. We're going to start by just coming down off the train tracks and going across the dam to the other side. So once we get into town here, this is going to be the first place you're going to want to stop for water. It's right at this green 2-story mustache house on my right, and there's a well right in front of that. Sometimes there can be some pretty good stuff at these houses, so I decided to check one to see if they're looted or not. I would recommend doing this and just kind of seeing things out for a quick second here. In this situation, there was absolutely nothing in this house, so I decided not to loot Severino at all. The only place I did end up looting was the parking lot just off the grocery store here. I recommend looting there just because it is another parking lot and you can find some pretty good stuff in the clothing. So after you're done looting at Severino, you're just going to follow that main road that heads west to Severograd. I would only recommend stopping at the high school at Severograd. You should loot the little steps as well as the parking lot next to the high school. Don't actually loot the high school. When you're done looting by the high school, you're just going to want to head in town on the main road. Once we get in town, you're going to notice a bridge on your left hand side, and you're going to want to take that bridge across a little stream and keep heading to the south part of the town. So this is another spot where I'm going to say if you don't have a gun yet, you should stop and loot up just south of Severograd. If you do have a gun, I wouldn't worry about it. There's a well that you can drink from right next to construction, as you just saw there. So we're just going to keep heading south now and make our way to Northwest Airfield. And from here on out, we're not really concerned about loot. We're just concerned about getting to the airfield. So all you're going to want to do to get down to the airfield is follow this road that heads south out of town. And eventually you're going to see a church on your right hand side. Once you see that church, you're going to want to go over to it. So when you're leaving the church, you're going to want to head into the woods just out in front of it. Now, after you get into the trees, you're just going to want to stick on the side of the hill and keep heading south on the side. On the side of the hill, you're going to be passing a town on your left-hand side. You can go down there and loot if you really want to. I wouldn't recommend it. It does have some good stuff, but by now you should definitely have a gun. So there's not really a purpose to loot it unless you want some extra stuff. But you're going to end up in an open field here, and you're going to see a cemented road. You're just going to want to follow this cemented road up to Devil's Castle. You'll be able to see it on the hillside over the horizon. When you're running the road up to Devil's Castle, you're going to come across a intersection with a dirt path, and you're just going to want to follow that dirt path towards Grishino. So while you're running the dirt path, you're going to pass a little chicken coop. You're going to ignore that, keep running past that, and you're going to find a little field off to the right hand side with a bunch of baby trees on it. You're just going to want to run through this directly the way I am, and eventually you'll hit Grishino. You'll actually see it through the trees here in a moment. So this is basically the end of the loot run. You've arrived at Grishino, and you're right next to the airfield. You can do whatever you want from here. You don't have to go to the airfield. I hope this loot run helped you out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.